How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. This is, of course, a Black Lives Matter, all cops are bastards, and trans rights supporting channel. If you're not supporting that shit, get the fuck off this channel. This is Iron Fist, Season 1, Episode 11, Lead Horse Back to Stable. So, this is Davos leading Danny back to Kunlun. Also, could be, like, Colleen or Bakudo trying to lead Danny back to the campus place. Now, talking about the campus place, actually, something we didn't really talk about in the discussion of last episode that I want to bring up here is, again, we are a rogue faction, the Gao is a rogue faction of the Hand, and that that implies that their version of the Hand is bigger and Gao's version of the Hand is smaller. Now, maybe that was true in the past. Maybe that's what Colleen meant. I think that's the only way I'll be able to buy it as truth. Because I think that's plausible. Maybe in the past the Hand used to be better. And the, maybe even Stick's story is true. And just that was the small rogue faction. But now that the quote-unquote good Hand is in hiding, Gao's faction has ballooned up and taken over pretty much everything. And it's not just Gao's faction, but all the other factions of the Hand as well. Again, they're saying Gao's faction, but it's clearly other factions as well. Now, when somebody brings up the Hand to almost any criminal at all, they seemingly, especially more so what I mean by that is organized crime. Whenever they bring up the Hand to organized criminals, they tend to know who that is, and they tend to know to stay away, and that they should be terrified and scared and everything like that. And that either if they know the good Hand and they're still terrified of them, or again, how is Gao's group a rogue faction if they are the only faction that everybody knows about, right? Why continue to call yourself the Hand at this point? Why not try and adapt a new name if it's been seemingly so long? I don't know, but I wanted to talk about a little bit more about that before we got into here, because I've just been thinking about that for so long. Let's jump in. Okay, we are here talking about Iron Fist, episode 11 of season 1, Lead Horse Back to Stable. Mm-hmm. We got 2 more episodes after this. Yeah. Before we really jump into the discussion of the episode itself, I do want to kind of talk about the name Lead Horse Back to Stable, and then also the next 2 episodes are Bar the Big Boss and Dragon Plays with Fire. And you know, just the fact that I already have seen those titles, yeah. I would want to kind of talk about that too. Because again, these titles are becoming more and more relevant as we're getting here.
The Netflix shows seem to do the, sometimes they're going to be very unbelievably relevant, and sometimes they're, just a throwaway, or just a, I don't know what this means.
Yeah, and maybe in the last episode we might go back through and, think about them in retrospect and see how they, Shadowhawk takes flight.
Yeah, that one makes more sense now.
Yeah, it does, but at the same time it doesn't. The Shadowhawk doesn't really.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in the last episode. But yeah, Lead Horse Back to Stable. What does that mean in the context of this episode? Danny is the horse, right?
I do have a different interpretation.
Okay.
I think Colleen is the horse.
Okay.
Because of how the episode ends. I think it is Danny is the stable, and this has been Colleen seeing that, okay, no, the Hand is bad, and now she's being led back to, where she was with Danny,
I could definitely see that. I was thinking it as the villains were trying to lead Danny back to the stable, both Harold and Bakudo.
Yeah, I can see that too.
That's my guess. But yeah, I wanted to see what our different interpretations are. I think there could really be many different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, or just for both of them, both Colin and Danny, both sides of their factions. I mean, not really. In different ways. Davos is trying to lead Danny back to stable. The Hand is trying to lead Colleen back to stable.
Yeah.
I think there's many different ways that you can interpret this.
I totally see it. And yeah, they all feel valid.
Yeah. This isn't one where I feel like they had a solid one in mind. I thought they just went, yeah, this one makes somewhat sense for most of this stuff, so let's put it here. And then, okay, so then really quickly, we have Bar the Big Boss, and then Dragon plays with fire. Now, I mean, Dragon is the Xiaolong sort of thing, but we're not going to like the name. That's the last name of the episode. But I think that would be more relevant to Danny, like as the dragon. Now, Bar the Big Boss, like the big boss, as in like the big bad of the arc and everything.
Yeah,
that makes me feel like we're going to do a next episode, finish up the Herald stuff, and then in episode 13, the finale is finishing up the hand stuff.
I could see that.
So we were dealing with the big boss, but then we still... And it's the exact opposite thing of you face the dragon, then you face the big boss.
Right. It's
so, yeah, like, that is the trope. The dragon is second in command to the big boss. But, and the fact that they use those exact terms is interesting.
And, like, the fact that, again, this, like... We don't know if it leads into Defenders, but Defenders is next. That gives me the feeling that, like, 12 is going to be the most, like... Maybe even like the most like a fighty episode, and then like 13 gets to be the escalation of Danny getting into whatever makes the Defenders happen.
Yeah,
like it is the Dragon
like playing with fire. Is a big it feels like we're gonna end on a things are not ending on it, and now everything is good. It's gonna end on it, and now everything is bad.
Yeah, I feel like 12 is going to be our things are looking up, things are getting good-ish.
It's also not fight the big boss. It is bar the big boss. Like, keeping him out of something.
Yeah.
And then we also have to have our return of Ward. Like,
that
has been fully not, touched on at all since he's been in the institute, which I'm glad about. I'm really glad about. I said I wanted this episode to be all Ward, but, like, no, I think next episode it's going to have to be. If we're dealing with Harold and the big boss and everything, then I think there's going to be a cool thing that Ward does. Like, it's going to be a reason we haven't seen him.
Yeah.
I hope so. Either way, I just wanted to kind of touch on those before we really got into the episode, as we are nearing the end of the season and we should really be thinking about, what that means now and everything. Because it is interesting. Again, as we talked about before, the show is very, very just talky. And this whole episode was just mostly talking, a tiny little fight at the end with Colleen, and that's really it.
Yeah.
It wasn't really much of a fight, even. It was it really just kind of a skirmish.
Yeah. Like, it was mostly to serve the talky parts.
Yeah.
It was just confirmation to Colleen of, oh no, this is a bad situation. These people are, my students are not great.
Yeah. And, yeah, so I think, I out of all the episodes, this one feels like the most one where, like, they're not even trying to put an obligatory fight in here at all or anything. It's just, like, full emotion the whole time.
Yeah.
And full, like, in a much more interesting way than a lot of the other superhero stuff. Do it because Danny is not one to hide what's going on and what he's doing and stuff like that. It like even when Ward and Joy didn't really like know anything, even when he didn't know anything about the Herald stuff, or he's still like, I'm going after the hand, I'm taking down the hand. Like, he is very, very open about what he's doing.
Yeah.
So there's not that like level of secrecy of like, oh, we're having a normal conversation about dinner, but I gotta make sure I don't accidentally say, oh, I love this mashed potatoes is like the Iron Fist that I am. There's not that like level of mundanity to a lot of the conversations that are in a lot of other stuff. It's all so relevant and so serving the plot directly.
Like, also, Danny doesn't really have a secret identity. He has one to the general public, but we don't interact with the general public.
Yeah.
Anyone Danny is interacting with, he can be completely honest with.
Yeah, and even then, it's not like the general public doesn't know that. Like, he has said some stuff publicly that after a while, the general public's gonna be like, okay, that was real then, actually. Like, he wasn't lying about that. It was real.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like the more it's going to go, more stuff is going to slip and everything like that. I feel like it's going to be a thing where people are going to know that Danny Rand is the Iron Fist, and that's not going to be that weird to people.
Yeah.
In the future, maybe like after Defender season 1 or something, maybe he'll get a costume, but I think he's not going to care if people know.
I think that makes sense, because also, like, a lot of the theme we've had is, like, we need to control the Iron Fist. And the Iron Fist is this, like, secret that has been there for generations, trying to defeat the Hand, or, like, protecting Kunlun from the Hand. And Danny's whole thing has been like, not, he is Danny Rand, he is the Iron Fist, and he wants to do something different from from his dad, from the people of Kunlun.
Yeah.
So like going public would be a really bold step.
It would. I mean, he keeps going public with everything else in the company, so
Yeah.
it would make sense to also go public with and also I'm a super.
Yeah.
And then it would also, it would make the company a lot more directed towards, things would be a lot more directed towards the company, both in a business sense and in a super sense.
Yeah.
But I think that would also make it more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Once again, it feels like what they can do with Rand is what they want to do, or want the vibe to be for the original Stark Industries and stuff, and the early Iron Man stuff, but they just didn't really do anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the sort of background stuff where I hope that we get, that sort of stuff of having the public superhero running the company and everything. It's really interesting. I think they could do more with it.
Yeah, I think you have to do that in a TV show rather than a movie. In a movie, that has to be a tiny subplot. You don't have enough time.
Yeah.
Or it's gonna be boring to have all this talking happen in a movie.
Yeah.
Whereas in a TV show, you have time to actually do it and make it interesting.
I agree. And yeah, I'm just very much so enjoying it. I can see why it is the one that I've heard almost nothing about, and nobody really seems to watch Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Not really even in my reactions, but just in terms of the general public does not really seem to care much about Iron Fist and anything. And I think, there's obvious stuff it's got the, all the Asian stuff going on, and then there's so many people are going to be turned off from that because people are fucking people and they're pieces of shit. But, this definitely has a way more different, we're focusing on a very specific culture, I mean, multiple cultures, we haven't really touched on the Japanese stuff, but we're getting to that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is definitely a big thing that's turning away people. Same with Luke Cage. People don't watch it because it's a show about black culture. And Daredevil and Jessica Jones are the two white culture ones.
Yeah.
They are Matt is the Christian guy and Jessica is the white teenager who is, I mean, she's not really a teenager, but she has that vibe of oh, fuck you, mom. And they're great, but it's very telling why they're the most popular ones. And yeah, but on top of all that, the amount of, there's not much fighting, it's a lot of talking, and there's not a lot of characters at all. It's an extremely tight cast that is just constantly talking through everything. And if you're not into that sort of thing, if you're not into storytelling that is very granular and very we're gonna sit you through every one of these conversations, and some of these conversations are gonna be kind of repetitive, but not there's always gonna be new information. But sometimes it can kind of feel kind of repetitive, but it feels like real life.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel repetitive in a really repetitive, in a boring way or anything like that.
Yeah, it's not we've already seen this scene, please just move on.
Yeah, in this episode, Davos says the same sort of thing multiple times of the why did you abandon us, blah blah blah. And that's just been a thing that it's been throughout the why did you abandon us conversation we've had endless times throughout the series, and every time we're adding a little bit else, not even revealing something else, but the characters are willing to say more. You can see it's different characters saying it, blah 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 blah. I really appreciate that, being able to continue to do it and keep it interesting. So, jumping into the actual episodes, we get the flashback stuff with the cave.
Yep.
Do you think we are going to see Xiao Lao?
Oh, no way.
Yeah, right? I don't think they're going to, but with the way they focused on the cave and everything, really feels like we might do a extremely shadowed dragon.
I could see them doing an animatronic tail or something in the shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think they have the balls to do a dragon in any way. I feel like they're going to just keep it implied, with the scary cave.
Yeah. And Infinite Dragon is so curious.
I mean, this is such a big reveal. We've heard Xiao Lao before. We've, I think they've said the word dragon once or twice.
I'm pretty sure they said, no, actually not. I think this was supposed to be a reveal. I was acting like it wasn't, but that's because I forgot, my prediction has always been that Shala was an actual dragon and that it was Colleen's father.
Right. It's Daughter of the Dragon.
Yeah, so like that's still my theory, but I don't think they've ever actually said anything about Shala being a dragon.
Maybe not.
Because watching when I was editing back my reaction, I was like, "Yep, I know that," and then I was like, "Wait, why do I know? Did they say that before, or am I just so confident in my own theory that I thought it was real?"
I thought they said it at one point, but
they might not. They might have. They might not have. I can't remember. I mean, either way, we got the clarification now that is a dragon. Not like Pete's dragon. No, maybe like Pete's dragon. You don't know.
Yeah. It seems like
if we get a scene next episode where Davos is watching Pete's dragon, he goes, "Oh shit, that is it." That's infinite.
It also seems like Shallow like fire breathed the tattoo onto Dany's chest.
Oh,
because like when we see it, it is like the tattoo itself is super dark, but then everywhere around it is like burnt looking.
I was not thinking about that at all. I was thinking of the like he just got like beaten so much on the chest that it was bruised beyond belief. Like it reminded me of the thing from Lost of the character, just appearing on the rocks. They like fell down and were like thrown out of the thing, and like they have that same like injury of like the extremely bruised up, badly bloodied like chest and everything. I thought that was like it reminded me of that so much that I just defaulted into like it's a bludgeon damage, but. Yeah, like looking at it again, it looks like a burned thing, not a bludgeon thing.
And like the tattoo itself, or I guess it is like a burn, like it's very shiny. It's got like this cracky look to it.
Yeah, it's got texture to it there.
Yeah, like it looks like it's fresh, and then at some point it like peeled away.
Yeah, I imagine he didn't just like breathe fire on him, and that's what it was. I have to imagine it was basically like a
brand.
Brand, yeah.
Yeah.
But like that's way different than a tattoo. But it doesn't look like a brand because it's black.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, and like it healed up perfectly. Like there's not like the when you brand something, it has that like raised marks around the edge of the brand, and like he doesn't have that. I mean, it could be a TV thing, but I truly think that there's something else besides just it being like. But yeah, I don't think it's just fire. I don't think it's like magic fire. He breathed that, and then it, I don't know though, because what is the Iron Fist? What is defeating Shallow? Yeah, like what is any of this, and what are we gonna see? But they're definitely making me extremely hyped for it with the camera angles and the cave and all that,
and like the fact that Dany was so. Like, not scared of the dragon necessarily, but scared, like, what he said to Davos was, this isn't what they told us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Davos also said the same thing, like, none of us knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. Like what did they plan?
Yeah, like, how was this sold to Dany? Yeah.
And again, is there another reason why Dany was chosen as the Iron Fist besides just being a skilled fighter?
Right.
Because the way Davos talks about it sounds like, yes, there is another thing on top of that. Because Davos has, like, the whole, like, it sounds like it was a sudden decision that, who was the, Lei Kung?
Yeah,
Lei Kung, chose Dany.
Yeah.
So, why? Is it like they're all learning techniques, but like the techniques are different from the Iron Fist. You can do the techniques without the Iron Fist, but like the poison sort of thing, the healing that we know of now exists that you could probably do. I mean, only because Claire said it, and I assume that now it's a real thing.
Yeah,
I assume it's gonna be a thing. Maybe, we don't have a healer at all, except for like Claire.
Yeah.
And, like, I truly believe that we're going to need something like that going forward in Defenders.
But we haven't seen anything that was healing. Like, the thing that Dany did was specifically burning out the poison, which still feels like, like an attack. Like
sure.
It's a medical attack, but it's not like, like making the wound heal faster.
I can see that, but I truly think that he's going to get a healing thing.
Yeah, I can see. Like,
especially because by the end of this, he's going to be able to do the Iron Fist whenever. Like, he can do it on both fists. He can do it permanently. Like, so I think with that, he's also going to be able to do healing.
Sure.
Maybe a just self-healing sort of thing.
I could see that, or like he can heal someone a little bit, but then they still need Claire. Like,
Yeah.
I think we're definitely going to get the big, all the defenders are beat up halfway through the season, and then
certainly.
they go to Claire, and Claire's like, oh, I hate you guys.
I don't think it's gonna be like fucking Wolverine where Danny can get shot and he's like, hold on, and then it just seals up. I think it's gonna be more like, I got cut, hold on, like do this really quick, and it like how would I put it? It stops the bleeding and closes the cut, but you still need to stitch it up. You still need to disinfect it. You still need to do all that sort of shit.
Yeah, that feels
like a combat medic, essentially.
Mhm.
It would be the equivalent of him like cauterizing the wound, but not making it that way they can't, do anything after that.
right. It's
Like a medical or a supernatural cauterization.
sure.
Like I'm stopping the blood from being able to leave this, maybe.
Mhm.
Something like that.
I can buy
I'll
that.
clot up the blood right there. Something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna get. So, I don't know where I was going with that. Just of the, maybe people at Kunlun can learn a lot of the techniques when Danny says, oh, I had to defeat somebody and then I learned another technique and everything like that.
Mhm.
That wasn't as an Iron Fist thing or because they were like, you're going to become the Iron Fist, so you have to do these sort of things. That's the thing that anybody could do to learn those techniques, and then you become an Iron Fist. Then you learn Iron Fist techniques,
Right.
and Danny didn't learn any of those.
I can
And I
see
think
that.
that would explain a lot of the how have you done so many challenges and learned so many techniques and you don't know the most basic shit like how to center yourself.
Yeah.
Or how to recharge your chi is a big one that you would need to know. But if he has like right after this basically learned no Iron Fist techniques but just normal chi techniques,
Mhm.
that makes sense. That also explains why Davos would have been able to be right there next to him, and then Lei Kung is something like, you're the Iron Fist, and Davos is like, but we both know the same amount of shit.
Also, one thing I want to bring up, since we're talking about Lei Kung, when they're in the car and they're talking about
Thunderer?
yeah, and they like they have a line that is like, the Thunderer, I forget how they put it, like they're talking about when they saw Davos's dad meditating naked.
Yeah.
I feel like they imply that he was the Thunderer.
Certainly.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to...
Lei Kung is the Thunder, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to, I also, it seemed like they were implying that, and I wanted to,
Yeah.
because they talked about the Thunder being naked, and then they said Lei Kung has, they were talking about, like, do you ever distrust what Lei Kung says, or, think that what he says is weird, and it's like, everybody has weird meditation methods. Like, really
Yeah.
implying that, so,
Mhm.
yeah. So Lei Kung is Thunder. I mean, it doesn't really change anything. It's
Like-
just sort of like, okay, so we have seen Lei Kung. Like,
Yeah.
visually, we know what he looks like.
Yeah, the thing with him being Davos's dad is what I wanted to bring up.
That's a big thing.
Because that's the big, like, I was supposed to be the Iron Fist, and I'm your son, and you chose Danny. Like, I could see, like, I get completely why Davos has this big chip on his shoulder. That, and also, throughout this whole episode, anytime someone talks to him, like, anytime someone new meets him, they're like, oh, hey, are you an Iron Fist? And he
Yeah.
has to say, oh, no, that's not how it works.
Also, I didn't even, I totally had the, like, connection of the Thunder and Lei Kung thing, which then overrode the dad statement earlier in the
Right.
thing. So yeah, I'm now like, experiencing like, so he is like Lei Kung is his dad. This is so much like,
Yeah, they
it's all
dropped-
hitting me right now.
Yeah. Like, that's another thing with Iron Fist. It tends to be very dense in a weird way for a TV show.
Yeah.
Like, starting with the way that, very early on, Danny would just say stuff about Kunlun and then not explain any of it.
Mhm.
Like, we get explanation, like, more concrete explanations as the series goes on, but there's a lot of just, we're gonna tell you or imply a lot of stuff really fast in this one little chunk.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely playing with the amount of like Chinese and Japanese martial arts movies that lay very specifically Chinese and Japanese martial arts movies that lay so heavily into this
Yeah.
specific thing of the like I don't know how to put it in words, but like what Danny does, where he comes up and immediately introduces himself as like these long titles, like the
Mhm.
I am the sworn enemy of the hand, the Iron Fist, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff, the circles of heaven, and the like the extreme amounts of what sounds like it is going to be stuff the audience doesn't like. When they say it in the show, I think they think the general audience is going to go, ha ha ha, this is a joke and not something I need to pay attention to. And they're like, oh wait, that's all real? There is a like the whatever's ahead, the 9 heavens and whatever.
Right,
Like when we get that, we're never going to get that. I don't know if we're going to see a big thing about it, but
Mhm.
like we know it's real already, but I feel like the general audience has forgotten most of the jargon that the series uses, and I think that is intentional.
Yeah.
It's there if you need it, and it's there as a joke if you don't.
Yeah.
Like, you know how ridiculous it sounds. It is always funny when they're standing in a New York apartment saying, like, you know, Oyard Kunlun, the vendor, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I got it.
It's great. So, where do we go from like, okay, with Davos and Lei Kung being his dad, is this a Danny truly did, like, Lei Kung saw something in Danny where he wanted Danny to be the Iron Fist over Davos, or is it simply something like, I chose Danny to be the Iron Fist because I know how much you wanted it, Davos, and I am the kind of... We've seen Thunderer. We know what he's like. He's seen the kind of guy who would be like, I'm doing this to make you strong. It's like the Herald sort of thing.
Oh,
Like with
I
Joy
can see
and
that.
Workman. I'm doing this to make you stronger. Why don't you understand? Because, to be fair, Davos fights on the exact same level as Danny. Like,
Yeah.
like in the hand compound and everything. He was easily taking on those guys.
Yeah. Like, I think where we're going for this is Davos would be the better Iron Fist, like, in terms of fighting, in terms of, like, serving Kunlun, but Danny is the better Iron Fist for some reason that I think the Thunderer saw. Like,
I'm not even sure if, like, I think that's gonna be the big thing.
Sure.
Is it or is it gonna be the thing of, oh, I saw this the whole time, Danny Rand, or is this going to be the, like, you know, Lei Kung gets back, because Lei Kung is pissed.
Yeah.
So, like, he's gonna get back and then be mad at him, and Danny be like, I'm not the Iron Fist that you wanted, but you did pick the right Iron Fist.
I can see either of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can really see either. Or I could see Davos saying, no, Dad, you did pick the right Iron Fist.
Yeah.
I think that would be a perfect parallel with, like, Ward as well. Like, I feel like Ward's gonna have a line like that. I don't know what, but with the, like, you know, did I back the right child, you know, sort of things.
Oh my god, yeah.
Which again, Joy Joy is smart, but Joy is very smart, but Joy has had to be, like, they have taken Joy down a level of competency in these past episodes of, like, she just doesn't remember anything.
Yeah.
Like, stuff like in this episode, like, we are going to arrest Bakudo, right? And it's like, where were you last episode? Your dad said to your face we're going to destroy him. Like, how are you this? Like, there's a lot of stuff that she just is kind of like, not really making a connection. And it's like, yeah, she just got introduced to her dad. She thought I was dead for a longest time doing that, but some things like that is, like, a bit too much. They're making Joy too innocent.
Yeah. Like, I think the balance they had when, you know, Ward was taking a big nosedive and she was, like, emotionally still, like, feeling for him, but also putting the company first.
Yeah.
Like, that was the balance I think they hit that was really good.
Yeah.
That, like,
but now she's just feeling like a pawn.
Yeah.
She's not.
Yeah.
Like, Harold's been using her as a pawn, but that doesn't make her a pawn.
I also do think, like, this is just sort of who Harold is in that he can't help but turn people into instruments.
Yeah.
Like, I think Joy didn't get a lot of that because he was so focused on Ward, both, you know, when he was, you know, pre-cancer and also after. And now that he has no one else to rely on, Joy's getting the full brunt. Like, even if he does genuinely like her more, I don't think he can help himself from just going like, oh yeah, my child, the thing I need to use in order to get my company back.
Yeah. I mean, it is very obvious in the way that he's using Danny. I mean, like, in the way that Joy very obviously realizes that, like, you talk to him like he is a living weapon, and he is, but, you know, it's the way that you're talking to him. And Danny's relationship with Harold is so insanely weird. And it truly is, like, they don't really have any relationship at all anymore. Danny has not done the, oh, I'm treating you like my father sort of thing.
Right.
It is totally a just, like, I am treating Harold like he is a man who gives me missions and then I go and do those missions. Like, Danny is just a fully, like, a player character in a video game when he is in Harold's mansion. I was just like, what's the details? Gotcha, alright, me and Davos will do this. And
And good way of putting it.
like, even Davos is sitting there like, I don't care about any of this. Why are we here in this strange man's apartment? But it does have that awesome, like, they are planning something and they're talking about the plan, and then we're gonna see the plan, and the plan is gonna go wrong, but the plan is good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always really appreciate that when it's not like there's nothing in this plan that is wrong. We know the plan is gonna go wrong because there's already a variable happening that we know about that they don't, the Colleen thing. And so, like, that is, I think, how you do the good. Like, the characters are saying a plan and we know it's not going to go good.
Mm-hmm.
When you know it's not going to go good because there's obvious information that you have that they don't have, is a way better way to do that sort of thing than the classic thing of, like, we're going to go in and do this plan and I don't know how it's going to get messed up, but I know it's going to get messed up somehow because they said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I always appreciate being able to know before that happens why it's going to mess up.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't really mess up. It honestly made things better. Like, it is like a boon for us, but this also just now creates, like, throws the plan off.
Mm-hmm.
The plan is not going as it was supposed to. It's changing.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I think it is hilarious that they were like, I don't know, man, can we take all these people in the hands? And it's like, you guys are fine. Like, the whole, like, can we do this without the Iron Fist? The Iron Fist is truly inconsequential most of the time in the show.
Yeah.
The Iron Fist is a escape route, but it's never really been a thing that we've needed in a fight, ever. Except for, I guess, like, times where like, when we fought, like, the Hatchet Men, or, like, early in, I would say it actually was a little bit more helpful.
Sure.
When we were, like, busting, like, the metal knuckle dusters and stuff. That's true. That was helpful then. But, for the most part in fights, he uses it as an escape method.
Yeah.
So, truly not needed that much.
Like, we haven't really had a fight where it is the, like, if Danny doesn't use the Iron Fist, he can't do any damage to the person.
Yeah. Yeah, there hasn't been an enemy he hasn't been able to face without it. There's been, like, moments where, his hand would have got cut off. But, yeah, that's it. Also, to be fair, he purposely left his hand there. If he didn't have the Iron Fist, he probably would have moved his hand. He was purposely like, oh, hold on. So, yeah, that...
Yeah.
Overall, I'm not that, like, they've done a good job of making the hand seem way weaker and Danny seem way more competent than anything. Like, I wouldn't put him on the level of Matt, but I would put him just under the level of Matt.
Okay.
Where, like, he's definitely more skilled than a normal person who does martial arts, like Colleen or something. Colleen is really skilled, but he's even a level above her. And... yeah, like, I don't know where that puts it. He's not superhuman. It's just, like, he is trained his whole life in martial arts, whereas even somebody like Colleen has not been training her whole life in martial arts in terms of, like, from waking to sleeping, pretty much. You do some other stuff, but for the most part, Danny's whole life was suffering and training. So, I get why, you know, he's, you know, even without the Iron Fist, able to be that high of skill.
Yeah.
And so I fully believe that him and Davos can take out these people without the Iron Fist. Like, I truly don't need it. Especially because they don't have guns or anything.
Yeah, like, that's the thing. If we get into, again, the hand ninja with the poisoned katanas, or, like, even the hand people who, you know, like the archers and stuff, that's gonna be more of a problem. That's when you have to, like, actually break the arrows and stuff.
Yeah. And I think Bakuto has studied Danny enough and watched him enough to know that Danny wasn't going to kill him, even though Danny was, like, saying he was and getting aggressive and everything. And in that fight, you know, Bakuto does not seem that powerful at all, but in retrospect, he doesn't think Danny's going to kill him. He didn't want to kill Danny, even though it seemed like he was trying. I don't think he actually was. I think, he wasn't being serious at all in that whole entire fight. Even with the people sitting out. He seemed so bored by it. Whereas, like, he can get angry. We've seen him get angry, like, in this episode and stuff. So, I do think that, you know, he is a lot more powerful than we think yet. You know, I think they're really underselling how powerful Bakuto is and making me be like, yeah, we could take him, and then we're gonna go like, oh shit, never mind, no we can't, run. So we'll see about that when he unleashes his full dragon form. Time for my dragon chi. Colleen, there's so much we got to get on her. Like, I hope we don't do the classic. We're gonna hold all that off for season 2, guys. I want an answer on her father. But also, my theory of the dragon being her father would make that very interesting. Now we also have Davos as, like, Kung as his father and everything. Like, that would basically be like everybody. I mean, honestly, that would make it everybody's father is extremely important already in this. It's not
Yeah.
like making Xiaolong her father would be
Yeah.
anything different. Like it would, like, her father's already so important, even if he's not that dragon. But the fact that he's dragon,
Yeah.
like, I'm thinking that Xiaolong is a transforming thing,
Sure.
right? Like, it's a human that can transform into a dragon or something.
Mhm.
I don't know. Or maybe it's just a human and they just say it's dragon. I truly do not know.
He's just a guy who lives in this cave.
Infinite dragon.
Mhm.
It could be so many things. Where do you want to move from here in the episode? Nothing particular. Okay, I have a bit of a complaint.
Sure.
The entire thing with Radovan and Sabina was kind of pointless and didn't really go anywhere in the show.
Mm-hmm.
There was the whole big deal of Sabina going to Claire's mother's house and then Gal being like, I know where your mother lives. Isn't
Right.
that scary? Aren't you scared? And then Claire being like, nah, I'm gonna go to my house and read some Reiki books. And, like, I feel like Claire is just, compared to every other show she's been in, she just seems to not care about anything in Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Compared to everything else.
Like, even in the way she treats Danny, we haven't had a scene, like, all the other, like, every other time she's treated someone, there's a reason why they would like her afterwards.
Mhm.
Like, she gives them genuinely good advice, or she, like, you know, like, tells them about something that they can relate to.
Yeah.
Whereas with Danny, it's all been this very hands-off, like, okay, I know you're having a panic attack. Remember when your plane crashed last time?
Like, yeah, Danny definitely has the, I like Claire because I've seen the other Netflix shows.
Yeah. And I expected Claire and Colleen to have a much deeper tie.
Mhm.
But even that's not there, which feels really
No.
weird.
Yeah, they have a much more strenuous relationship now.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, very weird. I mean, even, like, the moment they were introduced in that episode, and in the episode after that, they immediately started getting into fights and being at each other's, like, throats.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. But even more so than the Claire thing, the Sabina and Radovan thing
Right.
was so plot point. Like, it was so, like, we have to do this in every Netflix show. We gotta have this fucking chemist thing get saved every goddamn time. And yeah, it doesn't have the stakes to it that there should be. We
Yeah.
should be bringing this up as a, like, it would help make the Gal thing feel more impactful. Because right now it's at a stagnant. It doesn't feel like Gal being in captive matters at all.
Yeah. And it doesn't feel like we're going to go back to that.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's just every time we cut to Claire, I'm reminded of the, what's going on with Sabina? What is happening with this thing? That was a
Right.
big deal. And, yeah.
And even, like, the heroin trade hasn't really been that important. Like, the fact that the Hand are doing it is important.
Yeah.
But we haven't, like, seen many consequences of that. It's basically just word.
Mm-hmm. And it's really undercutting this, like, you can't just introduce, I can't get over this, but you can't just introduce the like, oh, here's Radovan, here's his daughter that we've saved and not keeping it at Claire's house, and then never address it again. What are you going to do about that? Clearly he was, like, he was brought over here, smuggled over. Like, is she a legal citizen at all?
Right.
Or was she also smuggled over? We don't really know. What are we doing with her? At the very end, we better get something that's like, okay, yes, and also we
Yeah.
got Sabina this thing or whatever. Like, in the end, I hope Danny does a whole thing of, like, we're gonna turn, like, the Hand compound into a place for homeless people or something like that. You know, whatever he's gonna do, I'm not sure, but maybe like a rehab place instead.
I can see that.
Like, yeah. I don't, like, I keep going for, like, you know, housing for homeless, but I think honestly just like a rehab station would be something more like this, what the show would do. I don't think the show is going to do a housing for homeless sort of thing. I think it's going to do more of a, let's stop homeless people from being homeless sort of thing. Even though they kind of established in episode 1 that some of them just like the aesthetic of being homeless, even if they wish that being homeless wasn't as terrible as it is.
Right.
But it's like, yeah, it would be nice if I could just camp in the park and not have to worry about dying every night. And also, I am addicted to heroin, and that's a shitty thing. It's like, there's compacting factors that make it terrible. But yeah, I hope at the very least at the end we get something on that, because the not touching on Sabina is bothering me so much.
It feels real weird.
It feels so weird.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about, like, Davos? You know, like this is a whole episode where he got to be himself and everything, and
Yeah, I think he's an interesting counterpoint to Danny in that he's actually a lot more chill. Like, like he's still suffering from a little culture clash, but like I think just because he has more control over his emotions and because he has more of a defined purpose.
yeah.
Like nothing here is that personal to him except for the Iron Fist stuff. So for everything else, like he can calm down, he can have a slice of pizza and complain about it.
Yeah.
Like I was expecting way more fish out of water shenanigans, but I actually really like that we are not doing that with him.
Yeah, I like it. All his fish out of water stuff is very, very understated.
Yeah.
Like, he's not saying it in a funny, wacky way. He is just saying it in a, like, I don't know what Pete's Dragon is. Like,
Yeah.
it's a very matter of the fact, I don't know what pizza is. Or no, he did know what pizza was, to be fair.
Yeah, he knew what pizza was, he just never had it.
Yeah, yeah. But, yeah, I do like all his, like, yeah, I don't know what this reference is, but I'm not, like, rude about it.
Yeah.
Like, I totally thought that he was going to be extremely annoying in Claire's part. Like, not to me as an audience, but just to Claire, he was going to annoy the ever-loving shit out of her. But, no, he honestly was pretty respectable of, like, everything.
And he was completely willing to, answer questions, like, the whole Shao Lao thing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I really love it, and he just like the whole pizza guy scenario was.
Yeah, when Claire showed up with the pizza. Also, like
Colleen showed up.
Yeah, when Colleen showed up with pizza, but like Davos is also the guy who's constantly like, I checked, but I'll check again. I should come with you in case someone from the hands is, gonna mug you for the pizza. And every time they're always like, no, Davos, you're being crazy. Just calm down, just stay here. No one's gonna be at the door.
I mean, dude, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
That was just the pizza thing.
Sure.
Whereas I felt like the opposite in this episode, where in Claire's apartment, like, they go to Claire's apartment. Before they go in Claire's apartment, he walks around the whole place and checks everything that, make sure it's good. They go into Claire's apartment. They ask her to work on Danny. She starts working on Danny. At some point between, like, them walking in and then when we see her working on Danny, Davos also then checked the apartment again.
Right.
And then Danny goes, Davos, can you leave and go check the perimeter?
Yeah.
And he's like, I already did it twice. And they're like, do it again, Davos. So he goes out there and does it. And then later Claire's like, hey, Davos, can you check the perimeter again? He checks the perimeter 4 fucking times.
Oh my god.
And then I do think, like, you gotta, sorry, the alarm went off. But even after that, doesn't he also say himself, like, I'm going to go check the perimeter? Like, apropos nothing, like, he wanted to get out of a conversation or something?
I don't think...
maybe not.
Yeah, I think that was in response to them just saying, like,
Probably.
just wanting space.
Yeah, I think it was Claire just saying, can you give us a minute? And him saying, I'll go check the perimeter again. Yeah. But, they had 4 times. So many. But then, yeah, then the pizza thing, and he's like, well, what if it's the hand? They're like, Thomas, the pizza's not going to be the hand. And I got there like, what? The pizza guy's the hand? Colleen! It's such a good joke.
Yeah.
Also, with Harold getting stronger now, like he's boxing and beat it up and made the sand come out of the thing.
Yeah.
I love that he just leaves it, doesn't fix it at all, doesn't do anything, just makes the sand come out, goes, oh wow, and then just goes over, starts talking to Joy, while in the background sand's just pouring out of this thing.
Yeah.
I love Harold's just absolute lack of caring about anything.
So we do get the statement that, like Claire recognized Davos' centering move as being something that Danny does, and like he has tried, like he does the big, like, getting really, really emotional and he tries to calm himself down.
Yeah.
It is just that, like, his emotions are so strong that he has a really tough time actually, like, centering himself. It's usually more of just I'm going to try and calm down.
And I would not say that it's something that he has centered himself on. I would say he is calmed down.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do what Davos did, which is literally, like, centering himself.
Yeah.
Calming down is not centering yourself. It's just, it's just not.
Yeah.
And so, like
Davos goes, like, he sees things from a different perspective. Like, he is like, okay, I see what I'm doing now in this apartment. I'm sorry for raising my voice. Like, it is fundamentally different, and I found it really weird that Claire's reaction to that was, so you just push down all your emotions? What?
I mean, I can get that. I understand that. Like, that is... yeah, I mean, I'm not going to, because that is kind of what they're doing, of the, like, I'm getting mad, hold on, let me not be mad anymore. Because he did apologize for raising his voice, but really what he was apologizing for was being emotional anyway. Like, he was, like, letting his emotions get into the why he doesn't think that Danny should be the Iron Fist and everything like that. And, like, it's not his place to say.
Sure.
Like, Danny should be the Iron Fist, that's what it is, I'm not allowed to be upset about it. Like, that is him pushing his opinion. Like, that is him thinking he is centering himself. Which, again, like, you can center yourself in a way that is pushing down your emotions, and you can center yourself in a way that is not. Right. Davos is very clearly doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess my hang-up is just...
I mean, and also, Danny is very clearly doing that as well.
Yeah.
Not in centering himself, but in calming himself down and pushing down the emotions. Like, both are pushing down their emotions, but in different ways.
Yeah. Like, the thing that weirded me out, the reason why I brought it up, is specifically the fact that Claire looks at Davos and is like, okay, you're doing exactly what Danny does.
Yeah, yeah, that is what, like, when she was like, oh, Danny does that too, and I was like, he does? I guess. I have a real hard problem with it, but... yeah, like, I guess, like, you know, when, like, even, like, the early episode 1 scene where he's in, like, the elevator, like, you know, calming himself down, I guess that's supposed to be centering himself, but that's not really what that is.
Yeah.
But also, do you think that Davos couldn't become the Iron Fist simply because of all the chest hair? Couldn't get the tattoo?
Oh, no. I wonder if Danny can grow chest hair. Like, was it all burnt off?
Yeah, Danny does have, like, the I'm still a 13-year-old boy who can't grow any chest hair, but I can grow this big beard.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of weird that Danny has no chest hair to speak of.
Until they say otherwise, I'm gonna say that Xiao burned off all of, like, the hair follicles, and he can't grow chest hair.
Yeah. What, like, what nationality is Davos? Because he's definitely mixed at the very least. And then again, it reminds me of Zhao Chang having the mixed accent as well.
Yeah.
And Danny being, like Danny is full American, right? Full American. I don't know what the hell Danny is.
American race.
Yeah, like, his mother, we barely ever saw her, but I feel like they would have brought it up if his mother was half Asian, or he was half Asian because his mother was Asian.
I don't believe so. They both look very, very white.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. But that's a very tropey thing that these kind of things do all the time, so I was thinking about that. I was trying to figure out, like, are we doing a thing of, like, all the, like, defenders of blah, blah, blah are, you know, like, the karaoke guy. I can never remember anything else than the karaoke. Was he mixed as well?
I don't think so.
Okay. But yeah, I was just, like, Zhao Chang had a very, very interesting accent. Davos also has such an interesting accent that, I was just curious if they're doing something specific thematically with that, or, well, I can't really place anything, but...
Yeah. I don't think we have enough to say one way or another, but it is, like, it feels intentional.
Yeah. Yeah, like, also with the Danny being, like, Danny said he was the only outsider and everything, but if Davos grew up there, like, Davos wouldn't be an outsider, but he could still be not of, like, Kunlun nationality, which, what is the, like, is that Chinese, or what is that? I don't know if that's a separate thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just something interesting to mention. Because I feel like we're definitely doing something. Because it's all the big named ones. Yeah. I mean, I guess just Zhao Chang, but... like, yeah, he definitely has a much different vibe than everything else he's seen in Lake Kong. Or in Kunlun. Sorry.
Yeah. And, like, before...
like, even just the way he dresses and holds himself and everything. Yeah. It's so much different.
And, like, before we met him, we knew he was a little bit of a rebel. Like, you know, he would go and steal the wine. They went out for a donkey.
Yeah. And, like when he's first introduced, he definitely feels like he is not a part of the Hand or Kunlun or anything like that. He just feels like he is a rogue mystery assassin man coming out. Like, they know that he does not look anything like anybody from Kunlun, but isn't an outsider. Yeah. And it's like, what are we doing there? And, like, again, is Zhou Chang similar? Was he also an outsider that was... I mean, he is definitely way more Asian than, you know, anything, but still, there's something, like... He has a mixed accent. I can't play. I'm terrible with accents, but I can tell they're trying to do something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Davos is fascinating. He feels like he also came from, you know, the, like, New York specifically, honestly. especially the way he dresses. And everything.
Yeah, like I'm so curious. Like, we've been told what Danny's like travel from Kunlun down to New York was like, and that he had to get a passport and all that.
Oh yeah.
So like Davos had to have done all of that as well, presumably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. But like, yeah, he had to have done the whole trip himself too, and everything.
Because also, like, we don't know when he left. It could have been literally the day after Danny left. Like,
yeah,
there has to be a little time so he didn't, immediately catch up. But like, he could have just been traveling a different way all this time until he finally managed to get it over to New York.
Yeah. That would explain why he knows like what pizza is and stuff like that. Like, I mean, he could just walk. Even if he was just coming through and just walked through New York and saw pizza, he wouldn't be like, now I know what pizza is,
right.
And I mean, like, he had to have eaten it, or people talked about it, or blah blah blah. The fact that he knew what a food stall was and like how he could like kidnap the guy, or not kidnap him, like tie him up and then watch Danny from it, and like blah blah blah. Like, he knew enough. He knew way more than he should knew if he just randomly came out of Kunlun.
Mm-hmm.
So they also, maybe Danny told him a lot of stuff, to be fair, about New York, and he knew that going from it. Like, yeah, Danny might have also just been like, yeah, there's this cool stuff, and so when he came, he's like, I do want to try wearing a jacket and, fucking V-neck and stuff, like.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there could be anything of Davos having been in the hand and then was taken as a baby to Kunlun? By Lei Kung.
Maybe.
Because Kunlun is... Everything we've seen in Kunlun is very, very, like... Everybody here is a very... Like, the culture of it is very based around more nationality type stuff. Whereas the hand seemed like it was a very Japanese thing at the beginning. Whereas now, as we're seeing it, it is way more... just like, they'll just take anybody.
Yeah.
It's not really much of a culture thing at all. It's more of like a individuals within the hand have their like, yeah, I like to do this, like my culture sort of thing. But overall, the hand is not a very nationality based thing at all.
Yeah.
Even in terms of like it being very Asian, not really. Like I wonder, like a lot of the ancient stuff in the hand is still very Asian, but a lot of the people in the hand, it's not like they're all Asian.
Yeah.
There's plenty of not Asian people in there. So I wonder if Davos was a baby and then was taken by Lei Kung.
I could see it.
Classic Loki situation.
Like, the fact that he's not considered an outsider makes me feel like he must have been born in Kunlun. But I could see him, like, I could see an orphan situation happening.
I mean, Davos might not know that he's an outsider. Like, nobody, like, Danny could still say, I'm the only outsider, because he doesn't know.
I feel like, especially with how, like, rigid it feels like Kunlun is, I can't imagine they wouldn't treat him like an outsider if he was an outsider.
True, you're right. But, yeah. I can definitely see it be the case, but I don't know, I feel like you're right. They would have treated him like an outsider.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. We get like I'm imagining now getting these scenes of we're seeing Danny and Davos as they're young in Kunlun, and everybody's being like, oh, look at that outsider over there, and Danny's like, oh, why do they keep talking about me like this? And Davos is like, I know they're talking about me. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have any other theories about that.
Yeah. Man, Becca went so hard. Like, Daryl is, like, we don't get a lot of personality from Daryl when he's, like, with the hands. I still don't know if he knows it's evil or if he's just kind of, like, spacing out.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But Becca had such a hard, like, of course, I will get you the antibiotics because, that's what the hand is like. And then she snitched on her and was like, okay, now I'm going to take your bodily fluids.
Yeah, I mean, I do kind of get it, too. It is like okay, well, if you're making, like... He probably sent out an APB to everybody in the hand, and then she's like, okay, you're coming to me, this person who I already know, you're going against the hand, and you are trying to get, like, the medicine for it. Like, I get why she's like, oh, you're gonna make me risk my job over this person when you're trying to say this is about the hand when this is about you. Like, I'm fully on Colleen's side, but from Becca's perspective, I fully understand why she did that sort of stuff. And yeah, it is also like you brought me into this evil organization, now you're like, oh, stop being so evil. You can't make a child soldier and then tell that child soldier to stop being a child soldier.
I'm sorry, I realized yesterday it was wrong.
It really wasn't even I realized yesterday it was wrong. It was I still am on the hand side when I'm giving Danny this medicine, and I didn't realize it's wrong until you went against me just now.
Yeah.
In this moment is when I changed my mind.
True. 'Cause, yeah, right before that, she was like, hey, I'm Colleen Wing, a sworn, like, ally of the hand.
Yeah.
I love the hand. I don't understand why you think the hand is bad.
Then immediately I called Bakuto, oh, I hate the hand now! This episode did have a lot of extremely quick switches for two characters.
Yeah.
Like, Colleen so quickly was just like, oh, I hate you all now. I mean, after what happened to her, I get it, but it's sad that it took that much for her to break out of it.
Yeah.
That's a little bit more of a reason. Danny had a whole episode of talking to get over this sort of stuff, but it still felt like he just suddenly went like, oh, actually, I should stop being mad at Colleen and stop fighting her.
Yeah.
Like, that all just happened so quickly at the end of the episode. He was fully on the, I'm going to go in there and kill all the hand. He sees Colleen and immediately is like, I know I just saw her on the roof closer in front of me, and that would have been a more appropriate time for me to have realized, oh, I actually do like seeing you again.
Yeah.
But no, in the darkness, seeing you run away made me realize I don't care about defeating the hand right now, and I want to stop fighting and destroying. Like, I don't know what that line means, that we gotta stop destroying. Like, where are we gonna go then from here? What's going on? we gotta destroy Danny. Like,
I sure hope we don't end the season with Danny saying,
the hand is right.
what if we take the hands and we make it a fist?
No! No!
How do you feel about, Davos, like, seeing the two of them finally, like, hugging it out in the rain? Like, do you think he was taking that as a, like, I guess this is okay, or...
I think it is like Danny is a lost cause fully, especially with the, like, it was so funny to me because it makes perfect sense when Danny is like, yeah, I was waiting for a sign, and then I saw a sign. It was a bird flew out of Kunlun, and I was like, oh, I can leave Kunlun. It's telling me to leave Kunlun. And I was like, do you ever think maybe it was saying the path is open and you're the Iron Fist, go protect it? And it's like, yeah, that's a much clearer sign.
Yeah.
That is so much more clear. You became the Iron Fist in that moment. A bird leaves, and you're like, oh, the path is open where I became the Iron Fist. I should leave. It does, when he puts it that way, sound insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I fully buy that Davos is on the I hate Danny Rand, all my friends hate Danny Rand train. This is the final, like, well, at the very least, you were upset at, this person who is a member of the Hand who we hate. So I was I was okay with this up until you hugged her and you're like, okay, it's all good now.
Yeah. So, yeah, I do think he's going to do a big old snap, do a big old, like, fuck you, I'm going to go in there by myself and start destroying the Hand now. And he's like, Davos, we can't destroy! We can't destroy Davos! But, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that we're ending on this, we can't destroy, I want to see them destroy, though.
Gotta see the Iron Fist do the big punch.
I want to see the big iron punch. I want to see the big bone blender.
No, they're not. I mean, next episode ain't destroy the big boss, it's bar the big boss.
Oh, armbar the big boss.
Oh.
Calling armbar his Harold and breaks his arms. I was so happy.
Oh.
I can't get over how much I love that the show just continuously, like, I really thought I thought I was looking into it at the beginning, but no, they really love the Colleen's whole characters. She breaks bones. That's her fighting style. There's no other way to describe it other than her main focus is, I gotta break these bones. Every time it's this person who is taken out of the fight, and then she goes, not done yet, bitch. Like, from the time where she was in the fighting ring to still now, I get it. Like, as soon as she gets in a fight, she gets feral.
Yeah.
Like, way more than the Danny's thing of, like, I'll get on top of you and I just start punching you and punching and punching you. Like, she was doing the same thing, but hers feels so much more feral than a couple times that Danny has done it.
Yeah, she's way more ferocious, whereas Danny just feels, like, very frustrated and mad.
Yeah. And so, man, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I hope Collins and Defenders, I can't get enough of the bone breaking. I want it. They can make the sound effects better.
Sure.
The sound effects aren't nearly, you need a good crunch in there.
Whoever's working on Defenders, I hope they have some of the Daredevil people in there, because the Daredevil people know how to break bones.
Oh yeah, those sound effects were fantastic.
Yeah. Like, legitimately, I'm so excited to see Danny and Colleen in the Defenders, or, you know, like, these characters in Iron Fist, in a thing where I believe like, the choreographers and stuff know how to make the bone sound good.
Yeah.
And they know how to do the punchy good.
Because, yeah, in this, it just looks good, but it doesn't sound like she's breaking bones at all. But I mean, yeah, it's I can't get over I'm going to break your arm and then I'm going to yank you. Like, it's so unnecessary. It didn't add anything to the fight. It was just a fuck you. I love it. Alright, that's it. Nothing else in this episode. I think we covered it all. I'm surprised the thing that Bakuto put in Danny. Actually, it seems like that was just a thing he put in Danny. He just had a pin that ejected the top, and that's it. That's all it was.
Yeah, you're right. So it didn't come up.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, you know, oh, it might be a tracker or anything like that, but, like, yeah, he wouldn't put a tracker in Danny because they have the phone sort of thing. They have all that other tracking shit, so they wouldn't need that. Yeah, and he wouldn't also be saying, go find Danny, or let me know if somebody finds Danny, like, if they had a tracker.
I mean, it could be their even slower poison.
Maybe. Like, yeah, it could have just been poison, but, yeah. It wasn't something that was stopping his chi, it seems like.
No.
Because, or else he would have got it back when he was doing the roof stuff.
But, like, they focused on it so much. It feels weird. Like, it might come up again.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I also love Danny wearing Luke's shirt. That was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
It should have been one of the more bullet hole ridden ones, but still. Still. See you guys for the next one. Until then, get the fuck out of here.